What if the largest creature on Earth isn't a whale, but something we've never officially seen? What if, beneath miles of black water and polar ice, something vast still moves, slow, ancient, and completely indifferent to us? In the deepest parts of the ocean, sound travels farther than light, and shapes exist without names. In recent years, one name has begun to surface again and again in quiet corners of the internet, whispered in forums, documentaries, and deep-sea discussions. A name tied not to ancient myth, but to modern fear. El Gran Maha. Science can't confirm it exists. But science also can't tell us what's hiding in most of the ocean. And that's where this story begins. The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet, yet humans have explored less than 1/4% of it directly. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the deepest regions of our own seas. Below a certain depth, sunlight disappears completely. Pressure becomes crushing. Temperatures drop. And life, whatever survives there, must follow rules very different from those on land. For centuries, sailors feared what lived beneath their ships. In the past, those fears took the shape of the Kraken or Leviathan. Today, with satellites, sonar, and submersibles, we assume we've moved beyond such legends, but technology hasn't eliminated mystery. In some ways, it has made it deeper. El Gran Maha is not an ancient creature pulled from folklore. There are no medieval drawings, no sacred texts, no tribal carvings. That alone makes it unusual. This is a modern ocean legend, born in an age of science, data, and digital communication, and that's precisely why it unsettles people. The first mentions of El Gran Maja began appearing in the late 2000s. Not in mainstream news, but in deep-sea research discussions, speculative biology threads, and long-form mystery videos. The stories were fragmented, anonymous, often secondhand, but certain details repeated with striking consistency. El Gran Maha was always described as enormous, not just larger than a whale, but on a scale that bordered on absurd. Estimates ranged from over 1,000 feet long to nearly 2,000. Its body was usually described as serpentine or eel-like, built for slow, efficient movement through the abyss. Witnesses, or those claiming knowledge, spoke of multiple eyes, adapted to total darkness, sometimes described as faintly luminescent. Its mouth, they said, was vast enough to swallow whales whole. But what truly set El Gran Maha apart from typical sea monster stories was its behavior. It wasn't portrayed as aggressive. It didn't hunt ships or attack coastlines. Instead, it was described as territorial, ancient, and aware. A presence rather than a predator. Something that had always been there, far below human reach. Most accounts placed El Gran Maja in the Arctic Ocean or extreme polar depths. This choice wasn't random. Polar oceans are some of the least explored regions on Earth. Ice cover limits research. Extreme conditions damage equipment. Even modern submersibles struggle to operate there for long periods. Entire trench systems remain poorly mapped. Supporters of the legend often point to unexplained underwater sounds as its origin. Over the years, scientists have recorded numerous powerful, low-frequency noises in the ocean. Some, like the famous bloop, were initially unexplained and later attributed to ice movements. Others, such as the Julia sound, remain debated in popular culture, even if science has proposed explanations. El Gran Maha is often linked to these sounds, not as definitive proof, but as a question. If ice can produce noises louder than blue whales, what else might we be misinterpreting? There are also claims, always unverified, of deep-sea camera footage that was never released. Stories of research vessels that encountered something massive passing just beyond the light of their equipment. Of expeditions cut short. Of crew members who refused to return to the sea. None of these stories can be proven, but they persist, evolving, reshaped by retelling. From a scientific standpoint, El Gran Maja should not exist. A creature of that size would require an immense food supply. It would leave clear ecological signatures, disruptions in whale populations, unexplained carcasses, migration changes. So far, none of these conclusively point to a hidden superpredator, but biology has surprised us before. The blue whale, the largest animal ever known to exist, feeds almost entirely on tiny krill. Size does not always mean dominance. In the deep sea, efficiency matters more than speed. Many abyssal creatures grow slowly, live for centuries, and expend very little energy. Some sharks have lifespans measured in hundreds of years. Giant squids were once considered myths until physical specimens were recovered. Even today, live footage of them is extremely rare. And then there is the coelacanth, a fish believed extinct for 66 million years, rediscovered alive in 1938. Its survival rewrote textbooks overnight. It wasn't hiding in plain sight. It was hiding in the depths, exactly where humans rarely looked. El Gran Maja occupies that same psychological space, not as proof, but as possibility. Why does this creature capture attention so strongly? Because it represents a modern fear that ancient myths once addressed, the fear of the unknown. We are a species that prides itself on mapping, measuring, and naming everything. El Gran Maja exists at the edge of that confidence. It also thrives in an era of institutional distrust. Many people believe governments and research organizations withhold information. Whether justified or not, this belief fuels stories like El Gran Maha, a creature too big to hide, yet hidden anyway, too unsettling to acknowledge, better left unconfirmed. Importantly, serious scientists do not claim El Gran Maja exists, but many do openly admit how limited our ocean knowledge truly is. Vast regions have never been visually surveyed. Sonar data is often low resolution. Autonomous vehicles cover only tiny fractions of the seafloor, and every year, new species, some surprisingly large, are discovered. Still, scale matters. A creature thousands of feet long pushes biology to its limits. Structural support, circulation, energy intake, all would require adaptations beyond anything we currently understand. For El Gran Maja to exist, it would not just be a new species, it would be a new category of life. And that may be exactly why it feels unreal. But legends don't need to be real to be meaningful. El Gran Maja functions as a symbol. It embodies humanity's discomfort with the fact that Earth is not fully known, that beneath our shipping lanes, oil rigs, and satellites, there may still be environments where humans are irrelevant. In earlier centuries, the Kraken served this role. Sailors didn't know what pulled ships under. They didn't understand giant squids, rogue waves, or underwater volcanic activity. They created monsters to explain what science could not yet describe. El Gran Maja is that same instinct, updated for sonar screens and deep-sea probes. There's another reason the legend persists. Unlike many cryptids, El Gran Maja doesn't intrude into human space. It doesn't stalk forests or attack farms. It stays where we cannot easily go. That makes it safer to imagine and harder to disprove. If tomorrow, definitive evidence emerged that El Gran Maja does not exist, the idea wouldn't disappear. It would simply change shape, because the real mystery isn't the creature itself. It's the environment that allows such ideas to feel possible. The deep ocean is Earth's last frontier. Pressure there can exceed 8 tons per square inch. Temperatures hover near freezing. Food is scarce, yet life persists. Strange life, fragile, alien, and often barely understood. We have found fish with transparent heads, creatures that glow, animals that survive near boiling hydrothermal vents, organisms that don't rely on sunlight at all. Every discovery makes one thing clear: our assumptions about what is possible are often wrong. So where does that leave El Gran Maja? It is not confirmed. It is not supported by physical evidence. It does not belong in biology textbooks, but it also cannot be neatly dismissed as ancient superstition. It is a product of our time, born from real scientific gaps, real unexplained data, and real human fear. El Gran Maja exists in the space between knowledge and ignorance, between certainty and curiosity. And until the deepest parts of our oceans are fully explored, until every trench is mapped, every shadow illuminated, that space will remain. Because somewhere below the ice, below the pressure, below the reach of light, there are still things we do not understand. And whether El Gran Maja is real or not, the ocean itself is still watching,